we have Coach Link here. Raise your hand and ask a question. All right, Erik Link, start us off.
Hey, Coach, what do you usually look for in a kicker, and what do you like specifically from Harrison Mevis' game that we've seen the past 2 weeks?
Well, I think the number one thing is from when you're talking about a place kicker, the first and foremost thing is accuracy, right? The ability to obviously make kicks consistently over time. And then another key factor in place kicking that I think oftentimes gets overlooked is, a lot of the operation time of a field goal is on the kicker, right? I mean, obviously the snap and the hold are a big part of it, but in terms of getting the kick off in a timely manner is on the kicker as well. So being able to operate quickly and smoothly, and obviously accuracy overall. And then, leg strength is a big part of it too, obviously. I had a chance to see Harrison a couple times going into his senior year at some camps. And I was, at a different school recruiting him and had a chance to evaluate him. And, the thing with Harrison that's really good, man, is he's got a kind of a laser focus. And I think that really helps him kind of block out the noise, block out the distraction, and really focusing on his job. And so I think, that's the mental makeup and the mental mindset, obviously, of a kicker is extremely important as well. And you can't, at camps and, different things when there's, 150 kickers and punters, in one location, you can create somewhat of a competitive environment, but you obviously can't recreate a game. And so, but it's still good to see how they respond to a competitive environment. And I think that, he excels in those areas, I think.
All right, Max Baker, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. I think Drinkwitz the other day said that he felt like you should get 3 points if you're inside the 35-yard line. Do you have like a yard line that you're sort of comfortable sending Harrison out there for right now? Or is it kind of just the situation, the down? Like, is there a limit as far as where he can kick for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of different factors that go into that with each game, right? Specifically the weather, the wind, which direction you're going. I think all those play a factor. But, I would say we feel pretty comfortable attempting a field goal within, once we get to the 38, 37-yard line. Again, depending on factors. Sometimes that might be a little bit further. Sometimes that might have to be a little bit closer. But that is certainly a game time. We have a kind of a barometer or a range, if you will. And then at game time, we usually have a good feel for it.
Jack Sokol.
Coach, I'm just wondering, at what point in camp did you kind of know that Harrison would be ready to take this job as a freshman?
I'm trying to remember. I don't even think he was in practice for the first 5 or 6 days, but pretty early on. He was here in the spring, so we had 3 spring practices, and he was an early enrollee, so he got here in January. Sean Ketting's a very capable kicker as well. Obviously, he's handling our kickoffs and doing a great job there too. And I think that was a great competition especially through the last 15, 20 practices of camp, leading up to the season, and those guys pushed each other. Harrison just, I would say, it was a very minute difference, within that competition. But accuracy, ball height, getting the ball out quickly, all those things play a factor in it, and Harrison was able to do it consistently. But the reality, the life of a kicker, are we excited about Harrison? Absolutely. Do we think he's got a load of potential? Absolutely. But the reality of the life of a kicker, man, you're only as good as your last kick. So we're cognizant of that, and we're working and pushing forward. And I think right now his mindset is in the right spot.
All right, Bennett, go ahead.
Hey Eric, I know you just mentioned that you sort of got to see him kick a little before Mizzou. I'm just wondering what the longest is that you have ever seen him kick a football, whether it's here or before. I know he had like the 65-yarder at Cole's camp or whatever, but what's the longest you've seen from him?
Yeah, I've seen him make a 64-yarder in practice.
Was that recent, or
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
does everyone get pretty excited about that, or is it just sort of, does it go?
Yeah, we've never attempted that. That was us, an individual, doing some work, but we've never attempted a field goal that range in a team setting. So, but you asked me what I've seen. That's what I've seen.
Right.
Again, it's the interesting thing about kickers is, everybody wants to talk about distance, right? Every kicker I've ever met in my entire life wants to talk about their leg strength and make that 50, 60 plus yarder, and it never fails. You watch any pregame, you see the kickers out there and they're all trying to kick 50 plus yarders. Well, the reality is the guys that play at the next level and make a lot of money kicking the ball for a long time are super accurate inside of 40. Those guys that consistently make field goals inside of 40 yards are, they're making a ton of money. And then the guys that, are really good, but maybe not as accurate outside of 40 yards, but have the leg strength to do it, And so I constantly remind the kickers that everywhere I've been, everywhere I've coached, like, we got to be great inside of 40, and then anything outside of that, is great, and we want to be obviously as accurate as we can, but we want to be really, really good inside of 40.
Hey, Eric, 2 weeks ago you had Waddle, and now you got Stingley back there catching punts. Just how big of a challenge is that for your punt team?
Yeah, he's really good. He's an impact, dynamic player. It's certainly a challenge. We gotta be very intentional with what we're doing in our game plan and be able to execute at a high level. And that a lot of that starts and falls on the shoulders of the punter, obviously. But it's also, our coverage has got to be on point. We got to get guys out in coverage. They do, and that's the thing. I would say with LSU that's so impressive is, not obviously they have an exceptional returner, but they do a great job of holding guys up and blocking and really straining to try to give him room. It really is. I know it's coach speak, but it's a collaborative effort. It takes, all 11 guys doing their job, and that's always the difficult thing about punt, right? Is you got to protect it, right? You got to make sure it's protected, because that can be a huge momentum play against you. But then also, when you're playing a dynamic returner, you got to be able to get the ball out and get guys out in coverage quickly and effectively, and cover the field as well. So, but yeah, he's an exceptional returner. Has done a great job in the short time he's been there, and certainly am very aware of him.
All right, do we have any more questions? All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.